everyone. My name is Maria Stefanovic. I'm the Executive Director at the Leesburg Center for the Arts, and this is Art Project Episode 4. And today we have a guest. His name is Michel, and he is an amazing abstract artist that has calling Central Florida his home. And we were going to talk to him. So first question is, hi, how are you? Tell us a little bit about you.
Good morning, Maria. It's just fine. Thank you to have me. And yeah, it's great. It's an honor for me. I hope I won't mess it up.
No, you won't. You won't. This is probably the most casual interview that's out there because.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. So anyway, my name is Michel Bergeron. I'm by training, I'm a graphic designer. I was, anyway, for 40 years or so. And by passion, I'm a sculptor, fine arts, and having fun.
I love
basically it. With the art.
So, your graphic design is your career. Was your career?
It was. I graduated a long time ago from Quebec, and I decided in 1971, I decided to go back to school, but I says, if I really want to know how it works, I'm better to go to the United States. So first moved to Pratt Institute in New York City. It didn't work very well for me. Art schools got ups and downs, and I got a feeling it wasn't going down. But the dream was always to go to Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. And I applied after 2 terms, and they got me, and it was 6 semester nonstop, summer, fall, yep. and it was the toughest, but the most rewarding place. It was incredible. Before 2 terms before I graduated, I already got interviewed, and I got a job in New York. So the day after I graduated, we moved to New York. And whoa, here we are. And that was wonderful. Job was a little bit bumpy at the beginning because you want to change the world. You just came out of school a second time. The world will be,
Yeah.
Hey, when you got the first assignment is a stay-free maxi pad, you was just like, oh, why did I get this job? And the second assignment was Lysol, developing the label for that, so it was but I got some good chance, and I got competitions, and I got my first real project was the vintage cigarettes, the bullseye things.
Okay.
One of the things, anyway, we're not going to this, but one of the things that I learned from Art Center was to develop concept.
Yeah. No
concept, nothing, So it was very interesting. So for 38 years, I got a chance to go all around the world. First, we got the business and so on. So everything was wonderful.
And then that has helped move into sculpture because it's creating the concept, it's then executing that concept. It's helped you move into that medium.
Exactly. And also, one of the things I always love is word 3D. Maybe it was the influence from my dad, but it was, I love to do packaging, structural packaging when things opens and so on. And when I was living in Minneapolis between 1996 to 2007, for 11 years, give and take, I got also involved as a board of directors for a place called Franconia Sculpture Park. And this is not exactly the same thing than the other sculpture park, is that everything is done there.
Yeah.
So, and I'm saying, wow. So I learned how to do welding in there. And it was, the amazing part is you work for corporate America, when I was in the financial institution, the creative director with the tie and the suit. And Friday night, you get this thing out, and you get on Sunday night dirty, you bleeding in your hand, but God, it was wonderful.
That kind of completes you in a way.
In some in a way, yes.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So then you're currently your medium of choice is what?
Medium of choice is, to be honest with you, I'm not a master of any of them.
Okay.
Except, I don't think it counts. I don't know if the Creative Suite from Adobe counts, like a Photoshop and Illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
That I can do whatever I want with this. I did welding, and it was wonderful. After that, when I was in Miami, it was like discovering how to make molds. So I start with plasters and foams, and after that, I went to fiberglass, and it was wonderful.
Oh, wow.
And but I switched to something else, and now I'm working in wood because I have access. So basically, it's all the learning curve that, and you messed up a couple of ones, but somebody said, wow, you got the hook of it. So I am not a painter as a fine art with, the brush and everything.
Right.
If I paint, I will use the spray guns and things like that, the paint gun. So I don't really have anything, but I got all of it.
Well, no, I love that because it's very similar to how I create. I dabble in a lot of different things because
Yes.
I think you need to have that kind, you need to have that kind of fearlessness and courage to move forward into a new project, whatever
Yes.
it is, right? So
Yeah.
even if it's in a controlled medium of choice, you have to be
Exactly.
able to have the that you look at it without barriers. There's no boundaries.
Exactly.
And that is, it's not, it moves forward from concept building to the next step because it's exploring and experimenting that encourages
Exactly.
you. I mean, that's what advances any artist, I think, in the grand scheme of things. So tell me, what happened in Miami? Because I know you were down there for a while. And when we hear Miami, we always think Wynwood because Wynwood is like the artist mecca for Miami. So, and they went through this Renaissance period.
Well, first of all, I moved to Miami or to Hollywood at that time for a job that I stayed there for 2.5 years, and after that, I was burned out, and I didn't know what to do with my life. And suddenly, you got to the point it says, I don't want to do graphics anymore. You're burned totally. And a very interesting thing, I met, I think he was a mentor to me, a sculptor called Joan Henry. He lives in Chattanooga. He's an old man. The reason why, because my daughter was in Chattanooga, they did a project together or whatever it is, and I hear him from when I was at the Franconia Sculpture Park in Minnesota. And anyway, so I met him and he says, you have to go to this place. Please do not do on your balcony. You will get bored. You will quit. Go to this place called the Big House Art Complex, the BAC, B-A-C.
Okay.
I'm not going to make cupcakes. He says, no, just go. Anyway, so he helped me. He said, you need help. And I was very lucky. I get in there. And they say, oh, we're closing. We'd only do like 4 times a year. Now we're closing on Thursday. We need everything by Thursday. Otherwise, you have to wait for 4 months. Rush everything. And I'm, oh my God, what they do, the photos and so on.
Yeah.
Give the application. They get back to me like a couple of weeks later. They says, well, we have 27 applications and we only picked 2. And I said, well, I'm sorry. He says, no, you're one of the 2. Whoa! So it was great. And, it was so fantastic. First of all, Wynwood at that time was, there were still have studios that you can afford, like $300-400 in 2nd Avenue. And it was the right place at the right time. It was incredible. Big house, 65 artists, all, starting, and, someone got a lot of experience, but non-competitive. We're all working together, and sometimes I got a problem. So how do we can do the mold? Oh yeah, I'll show you. And it was incredible. I mean, it was the love, the passion that you do. You go work in the morning, you get a big sense, I'm going to work. And you're going back in the night and say, well, I wish I could work for 2 more hours, but I don't want to burn like I did in graphics. So everything was beautiful, but there were tiny things missing. And I always know what it is. Also, remember, when you're on the payroll for corporate America as an executive, and you're going to be a sculptor, the payrolls are not the same. It was a matter of, okay, I'll pay the rent, and then I hope I will sell. It was a little something. 2.5 years later, the Indian from India
Mm-hmm.
got it figured out how. Anyway, they were been following me, and they offered me a job as a mentor. It was the biggest design firm in India called DY Works, or Yellow Works now,
Okay.
and we're doing Coca-Cola, Colgate's, uh, uh, Pepsi. There were so every almost they were representing every American companies and tried to translate it. And so anyway, I was getting involved as a mentor. So I packed and moved to India. I moved to Mumbai for 6 months. And when I come back, well, the studio's closed, administration changed, don't know what to do. So I moved to the villages.
Not a bad area. Not a bad area.
Well, the beauty is we're very close to Leesburg.
Well said. So if you, like, when you're thinking, when you're creating now, because I see in the back some of your totems.
Oh, yeah. Oh, how they doing there?
Way to do it. I love it. Way to stage. So they're beautiful pieces, right? And when you're creating those, are you creating those in your home now, in a home studio, or are you creating them in a
it's a half. I used to work I had this most wonderful wood shop that everything you can imagine to work as equipment was there, but of course they closed because COVID-19 and so on. So I figured out a way to do it myself. I also have the big ones that it's just like, how do we figure it out? And sometimes the first part is like, okay, I messed up, so let's do better in the second one, and so on, so on, so on. So yes, but there's a couple of projects right now. I don't know. Maybe you want to talk about this, or you want to?
Yeah, I want to talk about projects. I love projects.
Okay, so well, it's a long story. When I was a kid, and you won't believe this, but that's true. I hate art.
Really?
Yes, I really did. The reason why I was tiny, and I have a sister who was 2 years older than I am. And my mom on the weekend, my dad was just, we're farmer, we're extremely poor in the beginning. And my dad was he never went to school, but he will take some stuff and make it and do something at work. He was a very good engineer in his way. My mom, on the other hand, was a musician. So the weekend she was always gone, playing piano for the weddings and things. Mm-hmm. But during the summer, she was doing these, really weird. She was painting these barn doors. And she was making all these beautiful geometric things, and she was always gone. And so I hated it because mom wasn't there. During the winter, she was doing quilts at home, but she never did but we're in school. So, so in this and that, they send me, I went to school, art, I don't care. And they sent me after my 7th grade to a seminary, not to be a priest, but to have a good education, because the public school public system wasn't that great. I did that 4 years, and it was, doing Latin, Greeks, I did all my humanities, I was doing a French literature. Okay, that was fun, Baudelaire, Verlaine, and all that stuff. But at the 4th year, after I finished, 1 year left, the school got bought by the government, and it changed to be the seminary, and they closed the door. So they put me in a public school, but they put me in sciences. So I was there and said, what are these guys talking about? I never did almost no maths, physics, biology. Ugh. What the hell is that? And there was this guy, he would have speak Chinese and it would be the same thing. So what do? You draw a little thing and you pass your time because you speak Chinese,
Yeah.
And so on, so on, so on. And I know that I will fail my 12th grade. But before that, parents sent me, they do interviews, and went to a private school in Quebec City where they said, I need the result, but I need the cash more than anything else. And it was a pretty good school. And so I graduated in July when there was a BC, before computer.
Okay.
So
I like
imagine
that.
in July when they send the thing by mail and the score. I was the one going to go pick the mail, and this never been. It got lost in the mail. So no, no. Hey, you have to survive. So anyway, I did this, and it was okay. And I decided to go back to. to Art Center, and okay, I get the story. And I when I was saying something was missing, and I think I discovered. Um, I had probably 3 years ago. I got a commission to do a mural for the Naples Art Association, the NAA. And I did the first project with them. It was just fun things, and I didn't care. And the second one was basically an entertainment. And I was there, like I said, what can I do? I cannot paint in front of people. I cannot paint. But and I'm there and splicing my brain. And at that time, I was my blog, and I was using Ivan Chermayev, and he was a graphic designer, but he did a series of collages. It was right after he passed away. And I look at this and I said, wow, how can I do collage? So anyway, we came from this thing, and I developed these shapes. And I have 40 shapes. My wall was 24 feet by 6 foot high, and we have to be covered. So my point, it was an entertainment, and I had a slot of 45 minutes. So, and I says, okay, basically I will give a piece that was, I even have a huge lipstick. It was 3 feet high, and a pair of sunglasses, and all abstract shapes. And I find this fabrics, and that's Velcro, and we put it there. It was really cool. So I says, well, I will give the piece to someone, and we'll put in there, and, it will be fun. I lost control. I mean, I have 40 pieces, and I got 40 people with the piece, and all going and doing it. And I said, oh God, no, this is not how it's supposed to be. My 45 minutes slot was over, and people still playing. So the direction is mad at me because there was another guy doing a show. But so anyway, and there was a big, heavy money thing. When I came back, I look at the video and look again and again, and I said, what did I do wrong? Well, of course, I lost control. But after you got this, I said, what did I do right? And I realized that it was the thing that I was missing when I was a kid, to play with art, to having fun, not having some stiffy guy that said, you have to do this and that and that. And I said, okay, so that's where we developed the totem, so we can make your own totem. We developed these magnets that you can make your own piece of art on your fridge. And I feel like, and maybe it's a little bit egocentricity type of stuff, because I feel like what is missing, but so far it works very well. So that's where the things is doing it yourself. I want everyone be like me, not what I had, having a chance to play with art and your own privacy, and you buy a painting. It's an end of a guy. So it's playing. Yes. And so this is where we are. So anyway, the bottom line on this thing is, maybe I was lucky enough to have bad teachers. Or being a bad student.
That's a really positive way of looking at that. I like that. I think there, I think it's the optimist in me. I think there's positivity in any situation, and it's a growth channel. So we go through life with experiences, and then we grow from that. And sometimes we need eye-awakening moments like your 45 minutes to go, exactly. This is what I've been missing. This is what I want to offer people. This is what I want to give back to. Yeah.
Yes. And I think the people that did influence me to get to this, of course, is mom and dad, even if it was positive, negative, positive. I don't know if it's the gene or that I had from both of them. One thing that they have and they didn't have is the sense of business and how to save money. But hey, what the heck?
You can always learn that eventually, I think.
Well, sometimes you learn the bad way, just from, anyway, that's the thing. But I got a lot of other people influencing me. I think along the way, and I was blessed. I am blessed. I got the two best daughter. One is an incredible writer, and God knows that I'm a terrible writer, so it's to me she is my wow. She can write all of these things. I mean, and of course there's me and is a painter,
Yeah.
and that is also so conceptual and they're a source of inspiration for me. I mean, I'm looking at what Veronique does, and when we're looking more on the graphic side as writers, but I go to the airport, I see American Airlines because she was working on all progress and new identity, and I'm just like, my daughter did this, and not a proud father, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
And of course, I got the guy like Ivan Chermayeff, who was Chermayeff in Geismar. So this is very graphics. I have Felix Beltran, one of the guy that he was my hero. He still is. Henryk Tomasinski. He is a Polish, passed away probably like 10 years ago at the age of 96. He was a Polish poster.
Oh.
And he influenced me to this, I mean, this new revolution and we're pretty weak in poster in this country.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the Polish posters, and it was always like, what's coming? I had a chance to meet him once. And of course, there's also the Walter Landor, that, the big guys, so on, and Michael Burroughs, and so on. And on the fine art, it was more like Ed Rushka, because he's a painter, but he's a graphic or painter or fine arts. Of course, Keith Haring. He was the builder in New York in most of the 1980s, the stuff, and where does that come from? And oh my God, look at that. Very simple in color, very complicated in lines and shapes. And it was just like, wow, we can go on this. And of course, being in Winwood's Shepherd Folly, the whole, and so on. So it was, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to.
No, that's good, because I think it's what people want to know too, is how do you get started? What influences you? What keeps you inspired every day? And I think you're able to answer all that. I mean, like when you're creating right now, what is inspiring you?
And what I call my Bible, and it's not religious and so on, but if I have an issue in color, you can look at a whole bunch of magazines and things, and I have this huge book that I had it last 20 years ago. It's the Amish quilt book.
Okay. Yep.
These guys have so much control in their colors, the color palettes that they put in there. And if I have an issue, that's, oh God, color. And sometimes, and I will look in that and I have the answer all the time. Not as copy, but the way that these people had the art, the brains to make color working so well.
Yeah.
So,
anyway. Do you think it's their kind of connection with, or their disconnect with the world? I mean, because we get inundated with so much white noise, and they live in a controlled environment within the group of people, no electricity, no this, and so they're not getting inundated with.
I think it's probably the most honest art that you can find, if I can say the word honest, but I think it comes from them. It's probably from generation to generations. I am not too sure. That's a very good subject. I'm not too sure, but one thing is for sure: they really they saved my ass many times.
I love it.
Maybe you have to cut that
one.
one.
No, it's perfect. That's perfect.
Because they do, and it's as simple as that,
So I know, what are you working on right now? Because I know you have several kind of projects you've been working on.
Well, we got these fridge magnets, and it sounds, and it works pretty well. We're on eBay, not eBay, I'm saying Etsy.
Okay.
And it says I got a totem. I'm doing big totems, and I'm looking for a gallery somewhere. It's been a long time last time I have a show. I had a series of posters that was done 3-4 years ago, right between Australia, back and forth. There were exhibits. I got a poster shoot. It was in Perth, Australia, and in Western Australia, and it was wonderful. It was a very short time. It was, I don't know, it was I have a show at the NA, Naples Art Association in Naples, in the headquarters. And now I've been here, and I was trying to figure it out where to go.
Yeah.
I have so I'm looking for a gallery and I'm looking for a public art. I had this great ideas. I'm sketching it and the big totems, but totally off and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that's project, and of course I got since the last 5.5 years I got the blog.
Yes, and let's talk about the blog, because the blog, I think, is such a wealth of knowledge, and it opens your eyes as a reader to artists from around the world. Like, because you hear, especially in our world, I think you can get kind of locked into your favorites, right? And for me, if you're following specific artists, like I tend to stick very local, because I want to support local artists. I want to help them with opportunities and stuff. So I follow artists that way, and then I follow a lot of street artists. But you bring a different opportunity, and that is getting to know. Yeah, well, it's getting to know artists from, in my mind, from all around the world, because you're picking artists and highlighting specific artists based on their collection and their creative process, and almost some of them have social impact in their own way, right? So yes. It's a wealth of knowledge, and I encourage everybody to read it, because it's I've learned a lot. I'll put it that way. I've learned a lot.
Really? Man, you make me blush now. Well, I tell you the way it starts. 5 years, whatever. When it was the primary to one election ago, and I was somewhere. I was in between going to Australia, coming in here, not too sure. And I remember one day I opened Facebook, because in the modern time when we are in the morning, we don't read the papers, look at Facebook and see what's going on. And I look, and it was all of these. It doesn't really matter which party you are, and which political party's view you have. It was just like crap and crap and crap and crap. And I got so angry, and I just say, okay. I wrote something wasn't very nice, and says, if you want to have culture, just go have a cup of yogurt, because there's none in here. Or check this out. And I took like 4 or 5 photos from a guy I cannot remember. And I put that in Facebook, and I was just like, trying to things. And after that, probably in the afternoon, I was just feeling kind of guilty, as maybe I am. And I opened Facebook, and I have like 40 likes. And I say, oh. So I says, okay, maybe I should put some stuff. And I go, what should I do it? So I start to Google it, and I said, well, I'm a sculptor, and I'm French, so let's make it. And Philippe Morel came in. He's a great sculptor. So I took 15 photos, put that in there. And I says, okay, that's okay. And in the afternoon again, I got a whole bunch of hits, and I start to do, and I said, okay, now what would be the second one? And so we keep on doing, and I said, okay, what to do? I did 173 on straight Facebook, and a friend of mine says, you have to go to a blog. I said, no, a blog is for old ladies to give a recipe how to feed their cats, And he says, no, take a look at it. And I says, okay. But you know what happened? And I'm so glad that you appreciate it.
No, I do.
But in my case, it's so selfish. Imagine that you sit for 2-3 hours, you are opening, you find an artist somewhere. Now you have to do the research about his bio, his bio. You look at his photos, and sometimes you'll find like 100 photos, and you have to knock it down to 40. So which one should I knock it down? And I try to see the beginning and the end, but it's so close and personal to me. It's like feeding myself and every day. And the more I go, the more I try to find artists that nobody knows from. Today was Czechoslovakia artist. He was a folk artist, but try to do Chinese. It's getting crazy in art. I mean, they're beautiful things. And I just didn't want to do only fine arts like painters
Right.
or sculptors, but hey, Tuesday, I'm graphic designer. So it have to be on Tuesday, graphic design. Wednesday, I'm a sculptor. It have to be sculptor. Thursday, well, it can be anything from photographers, industrial designers, architects, illustrators, cartoonists, and even on Saturday, a couple of times I got this lady making these incredible pie. So it's just not one thing.
Yeah.
But you do it, and suddenly you get a million hits. No, you receive email. Oh my God, put a banner in there and you get X amounts of dollar. I reduced all of them. I didn't want to get involved with financial because it's only for information. It's not for selling. It's educational thing.
Yeah.
Couple of times I said, okay, I quit. Anyway, in September last year, I decided to go on vacation, went to Quebec. And I says, okay, I'm taking a break. And I didn't say when we come back because I was thinking, if I hit 1,000 posts, I'm quitting. And I came back 2 weeks after, and I have series of notes, and even one, and that makes tears in my eyes. There was this Italian, really not so good English. He got his first headline was say, "Where are the artists?" But it was in Italian. I have to Google it and see what it means. And he says that every week he's a teacher in a school in Italy. It looks like it's a primary, young kids, 8, 10, 12 years old. And he says, we're using it, and says the kids love when you got, product designs and transportation. I did Ferrari and I did Pininfarina and all that stuff. But he says, please do not cut it because the kids really want to see what other things and expand not only in fine arts, but everything else in visual arts. And I was just like, and it makes tears in my eyes. And I received so many notes. I got this lady that she used to be my boss here, just did some part-time jobs, and saw her like a year after I started the blog, and she says, and she's absolutely non-artistic. And she says that, wow, I've been following your blog because I knew you were kind of obligated, but she says, I went on vacation in Toronto, I went to a museum, I recognized 4 pieces that you already put from your art, and I said, oh, I know this one, and people would say, wow. And I was feeling so good, so thank you. And I was just like, that was not the intention, but it happened. So
no, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's inspired me to start this blog. I mean, I think it's a wealth of knowledge. I enjoy that. And there was one that you posted, I think it was 2 weeks ago. It was the Serbian sculptor, Dusan.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah.
Forget the name.
I'm Serbian. I'm Serbian, 100%.
Oh, you're Serbian. Oh, okay, good. Okay.
And I'm first generation here in the States. And when I went and I read the blog. What's that?
Did you know that sculptor?
No. So that's why I was really excited because I went through and I read and I was like, oh, I don't even know. I've never heard of him. I looked at all the images. And then started doing I looked at some more stuff, but the images, if you don't know much about Slavic people, they're just really grounded, right? And I always say that
a relationship.
Yeah, they're just really grounded. So in his pieces, you see that, and a lot of them are social impact pieces. They're emotional based on historical moments, and it was well. So, anyways, moving forward, my cousin. She shared a picture and she was standing in front of one of his sculptures. They had just on vacation, and I was like, I know where that is. So I was super excited to share that because I feel like those are the moments. It's the connectivity that you're bringing to people like me that are interested in learning, number one, and it's the inspiration of being part of the change and helping and educating people and showing them and opening that sense of communication so they learn more. And so
on the past I did all the big guys, and
of course.
And then you got this, but the more I go, the more I try to find, and it's something very, I love that you mentioned this. Something happened a couple of days ago. I'm doing this. It will be happening in probably a couple of years, a couple of weeks from now. He's a painter. He is a Vietnamese, but living in Colorado. And my daughter did a show at Gallery 1261 up in Denver.
Okay.
And there was all these painting in there. And it was just very, okay, this guy called whatever, Kwang Ho, and very to pay attention. And for some reason, I come across and I see a Gallery 12. Oh, and I says, oh my God, I know this guy. And it's very, what's the word? I hate to say this and don't take it in a bad way, but it's very Americanish kind of stuff he does, little beautiful flower arrangements and things like that. And he got a lot of snow, and things like that. And I was just like, okay, well, he's a good seller and everything. And I start to look, but what I discover, and that's what I try to do in all of them, it doesn't work all the time, is try to see where he's come from and where he is now, and what's the progress and the way that he goes through it. And I realized that all of the thing he does in Vietnamese situation, which is like, wow. And as I recognize his passion, the other one was mostly, I wouldn't say fake because it's not, but he's here and it's not his full passion, but when I see the way he painted his Vietnamese things, and there was a woman sitting on the floor cooking something, and I was just like, he's got it. And I was like, man, I want to see more of your Vietnamese stuff. I see all the Americans, but it was just like, and I says, I hope people will get that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, to try to see what's the passion versus what's the reality. And sometimes there's the same, sometimes they're totally different. So.
Oh, absolutely. So if somebody wants to get on and see the blogs, where do they go?
Oh God, what's the address?
It's Visual Diplomacy.
Visual Diplomacy USA blogspot dot
That one. Or they can.
Blogspot.com, yes.
Okay, yes. All right, good.
And that's the generic one. Oh God, I'm sorry.
No.
And Etsy is etsy.com/shop/visual diplomacy, VISUAL diplomacy, whatever.
Perfect.
Because it's product called.
Perfect. And then if they want to learn more about you or talk about some of your current work, where would they get a hold of you?
Well, you can go to me in my email that you have, and I don't know if I can say it or not.
We'll put it down. We'll put it on the.
Okay, Visual Diplomacy 612 at Gmail. Send me an email. If you are a gallery, you can call me straight away. Put my phone number. If you're a gallery, put your phone. Put in this and that. If you're interested, there's Etsy, and of course the blog is there every day.
Yes.
Just go Visual Diplomacy USA / blogspot, and it will give you to the one of the day. And after that, there's a menu with the. I'm at 1061.
Woo!
And when I was saying I quit at 1,000, it was when the COVID-19 came in. I was like, no way, I keep on doing. I don't know for how long.
No, and I'm grateful for that. I know there's several people out there thousands of people that are grateful for that. So, well, good. We're gonna wrap it up, and I want to thank you for joining me today, and I hope we can do this again soon.
I hope so. I hope we can finish this COVID stuff and be able to be face to face. But hey, we got what we got. So thank you to have me. That was an honor for me.
No, absolutely. Mwah. Thank you. All right.
You take care. Bye.
All right. So thank you for joining us today for the Art Project episode 4 with Michel. He will be showcasing at the Art Center in January for a solo exhibit. So I hope you can come out and see that. And then this episode was sponsored by UF Health Hospital, Leesburg Hospital, and United Arts of Central Florida. Without them, we couldn't have done this. So thank you very much. And for more information about the Leesburg Center for the Arts, just go to leesburgarts.com and check out several of these videos are on there, as well as some of our other programs and our calendar. So if you're looking for upcoming dates and gallery shows, the call for artist opportunities, classes. That's all available on that website. So, okay, we will talk soon. Thank you. Bye.